Okay, so now we are going to discuss another model or what you call another model or cycle, which is developed by WIG, WIIG, and this WIG model basically talks about two different issues. One, the level at which the knowledge is built and used, and the second is that what is the process of managing knowledge in the organization. So, he talks about certain processes by which the knowledge is used and built at different levels. Say for example, at the individual level, at the team level and at the organization level. Now, look at how we are going to build and use knowledge at the individual level. How we build or use knowledge at the individual level? When we build and knowledge at the individual level, we can go through the manuals, guidelines, we can go through the books, and that is how we get some explicit knowledge at the individual level, right. But when we interact with other people, experts in the field, that is where we try to get more tacit knowledge which is available with others. So, as individuals, we build both tacit knowledge as explicit knowledge, okay, which is available either in codified form or personally by interacting and relating with others. So, and that is where you are using both the strategy, that is a codification strategy and personalization strategy. When I am using a personalization strategy, it means I am interacting and relating other people, I am collaborating with others, okay, so that I can build and use knowledge. Next is at the team level. Okay. Now, when it comes to team, we have to see that teams are going to be effective and working well. Okay. So, how teams are going to build and use knowledge? Say for example, there is a project team which is a cross functional team. Cross functional means that the people working in the team are from different functional areas, having expertise in different functional areas. Say for example, one is from the IT, other from the say R&D field, the other one is from the marketing field, the other one is from the product field. Okay. So, all these 4 people are working in a particular team related to a particular project. Now, when they are going to work in a project, okay, as a team, all of them are going to pool their resources and knowledge. So, what happens? You have to build an effective team, so that people are ready to share their knowledge with each other. So, you need to first look at the group dynamic factors, like group is very cohesive, open to each other, have dialogue, interact and relate with each other, and everybody in the group is participating in the activities. And the group is again going to build knowledge by following best practices, benchmarks, and they can go for communities of practices which are more standardized in nature. Okay. Now, at the organization level, how organization build and use knowledge? Organization creates knowledge base which is going to provide them a competitive advantage and add value to the system, like they have trademarks, patents, copyrights. These are the organizational form of knowledge which is not related or restricted with the individuals or the groups, but it is the property or the capital of the organization, and that is why we say that it is an organizational capital. Okay. So, the knowledge can be built and used at the individual level, at the group level, and also at the organization level. Now, the next question is related to the process, that how we build and use knowledge. Okay. So, there are 4 processes that he talks about is building knowledge, holding knowledge, pooling knowledge and applying knowledge. And if you look at these processes, these are more or less similar to what other theorists have talked about, like Jack model or Bokovich's model. They also talk about similar things, but in using a different concepts. Okay. And then we have to see that how the discrete tasks like building knowledge, holding knowledge and pooling and applying knowledge, though they appear to be discrete in nature, but they are independent, interdependent and takes place parallelly with each other. Now, let us see what this knowledge talks about. Look at this. How we go about building knowledge, holding knowledge, pooling knowledge as well as using knowledge. Now, when I am saying that building knowledge, so how we build knowledge? Whether it is at the individual level, at the group level, at the organization level. Okay. We build knowledge based on our personal experiences, through our education, learning and training experiences, from the intelligence sources, from the experts who are there in the field, or from the documented knowledge which is available with the media, the books or our colleagues. Okay. Now, once we build the knowledge, we move to the next stage, that is holding knowledge. Okay. So, the knowledge, where the knowledge is, either it is available in intangible forms or tangible forms. So, if it is available in intangible form, that is it resides with the people, and then or it is residing in a documented form, that is in a tangible form. So, the knowledge could be there either with the people or in the books or documented forms. So, what kind of knowledge resides with the people? That is the tacit knowledge, and what is available in intangible form is more explicit form of knowledge. Now, we move to the next stage, that is pooled knowledge. Okay. How we are going to pool this knowledge, whether it is available either in tacit form or explicit form. So, for that there are two things, okay, a software approach as well as a hardware approach. Okay. So, you are going to develop a knowledge management systems and make use of IT systems like intranet database systems, okay, which is a part of the KM systems, or you have people coming out together brainstorming about certain things, okay, and then you are generating knowledge. Say for example, a company wants to introduce a new product in the market, okay, which will have a different kind of features. So, the people have certain ideas. So, what the company would do? So, they will call experts, okay, who are subject matter experts, they would sit together, they would go for brainstorming. Okay. So, a group of people brainstorm and they come out with ideas, okay, related to new products. So, this new knowledge is created which could be used or utilized by the organization. Now, when it comes to brainstorming, what actually happens in brainstorming is that once the brainstorming starts, and the idea of brainstorming is to generate ideas at the first place. So, it is expected that each and every person will come out with an idea, okay, in the group, and you continue generating ideas unless each and every person gets exhausted with the idea. Okay. And that is actually a unique thing related to brainstorming. In brainstorming, you do not hold or stop a person from giving the idea, irrespective of the fact whether the idea is good or bad, whether it holds any value or it does not hold any value. So, in a brainstorming session, people are allowed to freely generate idea to the extent possible that they get exhausted. Okay. Once all the ideas are generated by the people related to particular issue, then the next stage what you do? All the people again sit together and start evaluating all the ideas one by one. So, they identify certain idea which could be useful, certain ideas are discarded at this stage, then they again go for brainstorming in another session, and then they find out certain ideas which could be used by the organization for the use. Okay. And through this brainstorming sessions, you can generate wonderful ideas which could be used by the organization to create new products and systems. Okay. And that is basically coming out with tacit knowledge which could be transformed into explicit form, or the knowledge that is available in explicit form that could be distributed and accessed using knowledge management systems, where you have intranet and databases, right. Then the next thing is that how we are going to make use of knowledge, okay. That is use of knowledge. Okay. So, where you are going to use knowledge, right? When you are going to work in the organization, whatever knowledge that you have learned, okay, either in tacit form or explicit form, that you are going to make use of, and that is where the skill set of the people to apply knowledge is very, very important. We say that knowledge leads to action. No, it is not the correct word. Knowledge leads to action provided the person is able to apply that knowledge in a particular context and is supported by other factors like resources, management and other things. Okay. So, use of knowledge is possible only in a work context, only when you are allowed to make use of it and you are in a position to see that the knowledge is relevant in the particular context where you want to make use of it to do a productive work. Okay. And lot of knowledge that is already embedded in the work processes. So, you learn out of it also, and once you learn, then you again make reuse of that knowledge. So, the second part is basically is related to the reuse. So, use and reuse of the knowledge, that is basically related to this cycle. Now, let us discuss each and every concept that he talks about, like the first concept or the first process that he talks about, building knowledge. So, how we build knowledge? Okay. Building knowledge, that is how you get ideas, from where you learn. Okay. That is learning from different sources, it could be books, it could be videos, it could from the people. Okay. So, you learn it from tangible and intangible sources, both. Okay. So, what you get knowledge. So, once you learn from them, then you try to see that whether this knowledge is useful for you or not. So, you analyze the knowledge, whether the knowledge that you have gained either through tangible sources or intangible sources, whether it is good and whether you can make use of it or not. And based on your analysis of the kind of knowledge that you have received, the next stage is that you are going to synthesize this. When you are going to synthesize this, basically that is reconstructing. Reconstructing is that you are going to reconstruct or synthesize this depending upon your requirement and context, so that it is going to be useful for you. Okay. For example, if you read a book and you find certain useful things, and suppose you are going to do some research. So, you are going to reconstruct those things which is going to be useful for you for your research. You are not going to whatever you have read in the book directly apply, but you are going to see whether there is a context for it or not, whether it is relevant in your case, and then you see that in what way you can apply that knowledge which you have learned from you for doing your research, right. So, that is where you are going to reconstruct or synthesize the knowledge. Say another case where you are going to offer a new product. Okay. So, you have knowledge about the different products, you from different sources, you try to get what kind of product you should offer, and then whatever knowledge that you have gathered from different sources, you analyze that, and that becomes a basis for creating a new product. How you are going to analyze it, reconstruct all the knowledge depending upon your requirement, your use, and then accordingly you try to develop a new product. That is based on the synthesis of the existing knowledge that you have gone through so far. Once the synthesis takes place or the reconstruction happens, then again you are going to codify it. Okay. Codify means that you are going to make it explicit. Okay. You are going to talk about the steps and processes through which this knowledge can be used by you. Okay. So, that is basically related to what we call moving from a conceptual stage to a more operational stage, that how to go about it, right. And then you model it, means that you develop a testable model to see that whether this knowledge can be applied successfully in a particular context or not. Okay. Once you are sure that okay, you have modeled this, then you move to the next stage, that is you organize it, so that others can also make use of it for and apply it in different contexts. Okay. And that is how we are talking about building knowledge, that is the first part. Second, holding knowledge. This basically talks about, as I have already told you, where the knowledge is, what is the source of the knowledge. Okay. It could be in the people's mind, it could be in the books, okay, or you have a computerized knowledge base like search engines of Google or others. Okay. So, different form of knowledge, whether it is tacit knowledge or whether it is explicit knowledge, is available in different places, okay, with the people or in documented form. Okay. So, once you learn it or once you get it from whatever source you are using, okay, whether tacit or explicit, whether it is available in tacit or explicit form, what you do? You try to internalize it. What do you mean by internalizing the knowledge? It means that you see whether this knowledge is going to be useful and how you are going to make use of it in your context. So, internalization is learning it and then applying it in your contexts. Okay. For example, I tell you that okay, this is how we are going to drive a car, okay, and I give you all the knowledge related to this, and I give you a manual and guideline that this is how a car is driven. Okay. This is a more theoretical knowledge. Okay. But when you actually drive a car, what you do? You learn. Okay. Using the knowledge base that you already have, you apply it in a particular context when you drive, and then based on your learning, then you internalize certain things that okay, this is how I am going to make use of this knowledge to do certain things, and that is where actually internalization takes place. Okay. So, you have to know what is the different functions of different equipments that is fitted with a car, okay, and how to make use of it. But internalization takes place only when you are going to apply them in your context, when you are going to use, not others, and that is where internalization takes place. Then once internalization takes place, then it is encoded by you, okay, either in a tacit form or explicit form, okay, right. So, you accumulate knowledge in repositories. That is how the knowledge, the internalized knowledge that is available with you, either you retain it in a tacit form or you can document it in a explicit form. Okay. So, that is encoded by you, okay. And then this encoded knowledge, whether it is available in tacit form or explicit form, is in the repositories. The only problem with the repositories is that how are going to deposit knowledge or have knowledge which is available in tacit form. For that, what you need to do is you have to document the tacit knowledge. Say for example, you are using certain processes to perform a work and you have become an expert in that and make zero error and achieve significant quality standards. Now, once you have learned this process, it is with you, you know how to do it, you have encoded it well, it is available in tacit form, then how to make use of that in a explicit form. So, what you can do, you can share your experiences with others, okay, those who are going to perform similar works. So, that is from tacit to tacit, again encoding is taking place in the tacit form. Next, you can document the entire process based on your learning experiences, which could be used by others as a knowledge base to perform similar tasks. Okay. So, if you are going to document that process in explicit form, then it is going to be made available to others and then they can go in the repositories and they can make use it. It is basically related to the processes, right. Then these processes are archived in the knowledge hub or knowledge center. Okay. It could be like libraries, okay, or you have repositories. Okay. It could be in any form that is how it is going to be stored in CD-ROMs, videos, okay. And then you have a place where this could be kept, like you have a central library where you have all the videos, audios, okay. Libraries, or you can also have IT enabled system, so that it is available in digitized form. Okay. So, it is very important to have archived knowledge. Okay. If you are moving from a physical form to a digital form, it is always better to hold knowledge in a digital form, because it is cost effective, it takes less space and it is easy to use compared to having or holding knowledge in a physical space, right. Second part, then we are moving to pooling knowledge. Okay. How we pool knowledge? Okay. Pooling knowledge is basically very important when you are trying to come out with the tacit knowledge, right. So, how you are going to pool tacit knowledge? That is through discussions and dialogues with other persons, building networks with experts, or having work teams where people are going to share their knowledge with each other. And there are different ways through which you can pool knowledge with each other. That is, you have a team which is going to collaborate with each other and everybody is going to share their knowledge. Okay. So, that everybody is going to coordinate knowledge, okay, within each other and among different teams. So, you have different teams which are going to collaborate with each other within the team and between the teams, and then whatever knowledge is generated in one team is also shared by the other team. Okay. So, the coordination of knowledge between collaborative teams means that each team which is working on a different aspect is going to share his learning experiences with other teams, and there is a person who is going to see that this coordination happens across teams with respect to the kind of knowledge and experiences that is generated out of it, which could be used by the organization, and then it is documented, it could be used. Okay. And you can also create expert networks to identify who knows what. Okay. So, you create subject matter experts. So, if you are looking for a particular kind of knowledge, okay, this is the expert where you can go. Okay. And this you also create a network of experts, and these experts through these networks can also share their experiences, they are learning with each other. Then the third one is assembling knowledge. How are we going to assemble, collect this knowledge? Okay. That is from different sources, tangible and intangible. It could be libraries, it could be documents, it could be videos or anything like that. The next is assessing and retrieving knowledge. Okay. How are we going to assess and retrieve knowledge? Okay. Assessing knowledge, when it comes to assessing tacit knowledge, it is very important, because it is not possible to see the kind of knowledge that is available with other people, okay, in tacit form. Then how are we going to assess it? Okay. So, in order to assess the kind of knowledge that is available with other people, you need to look at experts evaluations, peers, go for second opinions. I give an example. Say you have certain problems, physical problems, okay, and you go to a doctor and consult him. Okay. Based on his learning and experiences, you are being diagnosed, okay, that you have this problem. What next? Are you going to follow the prescriptions by the doctor? In critical cases, what happens? You go for a second opinion. Why you go for a second opinion? Because you are not sure about the kind of knowledge that he has, and based on that, whatever prescriptions has he given. Okay. So, you go for a second opinion. You also go for peer reviews. Okay. This is what the doctor says, what should I do? Then he suggests certain things. Okay. So, you are going to consult knowledgeable people when there is a critical problem. Okay. You go for peer reviews, you go for second opinions, and then you, based on this cumulative knowledge, you decide what needs to be done, right. Then you also get knowledge from the directories. Suppose you have a certain critical problem, medical critical problem. So, you look for the sources, okay, if these kind of problems are there, what kind of medicines or what kind of prescriptions are given. So, you also look at both the sources, that is tacit sources as well as explicit sources. Say for example, if I have a problem and some medicine is given by the doctor, I am not sure whether he has given good medicine or not. So, what I will do? I will search the Google for this particular medicine. You would look into the characteristics, symptoms, what are the side effects, whether the medicine that is given to me is going to work for me or not. And once I am sure, okay, this secondary information which I am getting in explicit form from the documented form is really helpful to decide whether I am going for it or not. Okay. So, the second opinion could be either in tacit form or it could be in explicit form also. Okay. So, based on this information, then you are going to see whether you are going to make use of it or not, right. So, this is the second part, that is related to pooling knowledge. Now, let me give you another example. Say there is an employee who says that he does not have the necessary knowledge, and he does not know the process to solve a particular problem. So, I give an example. There was a case in a company in the shop floor where a particular belt was being broken. So, whenever they were repairing it, was always broken. The person who was working on that belt was not sure how to repair it and what to do, so that this problem is fixed. Okay. So, what he will do? He will contact others in the company who had similar problems. So, he will ask other people whether you have similar problems, how did you solve it. Okay. He will look for the repositories, he will look into manuals and guidelines, or he will look for an expert who is going to help you to see that how is going to fix the problem. In this case, I tell you what happened, that the person went to an expert who had done similar work in the past and he had very good knowledge about it, and he told him that okay, this is how you should go about it, because if the belt is breaking very frequently, it means it is not the fault of the belt, there is some problem with the machine, or it is not working properly, or there is a fault that you need to identify. Once this fault is repaired or fixed, probably you will not have this kind of problem. So, whatever information that person has gathered from experts, peer reviews, second opinions, experts, then he is going to make use of all this knowledge and he pools all this knowledge. That is what pooling is. So, he pools all this knowledge and then he is going to validate it in the particular context, right. He is going to see that whatever content that is that has organized out of this information is going to be useful for him or not, and then he is going to make use of this knowledge to fix the problem and see whether it happens or not. Okay. So, when it comes to pooling the knowledge, it means that you gather information from various resources and test it in a particular context whether it is going to be useful or not. So, this is related to pooling knowledge. Then the last part of his cycle is using knowledge. Okay. Once you have synthesized alternative solutions, you have identified options, okay, and then you create new solutions. Okay. So, what you do? You evaluate potential alternatives, advantages and disadvantages. So, you come out with various options. Okay, suppose if I go for this, what will happen? Suppose you have a critical illness problem and doctor has suggested you. So, okay, these are the various options for which you can go. Then you decide which option to see. So, what you do? You look at the advantage and disadvantage of each options. Okay. Suppose you have problems, so doctor suggesting that whether you take medicines or whether you go for operations. There, suppose I am taking a simple example. So, what should you do? So, you look at the drawbacks as well as advantages of taking medicines or drawbacks and advantages of operations, going for operations, which one is, and then you also associate risks and benefits associated with each of the options, and then you go for it. Okay. So, use your knowledge to decide what to do. So, in this case you gather all kind of information from different sources, pool it and see what is the best option for you in that particular case. So, you rank alternatives and the extent of feasibility and acceptability. Feasibility and acceptability is very, very important. Okay. In this case, because you have to see that whether it is feasible and viable to go for this kind of thing or not, what will happen, because you are not sure what would be the outcome. Okay. And then whether it is acceptable or not, that is also need to be seen. Okay. So, once you have identified and made sure that whether it is going to be acceptable or not, then you choose a particular alternative, okay, based on the pooling that you have done. Okay. Say another example that I am giving of using knowledge, like each mechanic encounters a new problem, expert mechanic encounters a new problem. So, he gathers information through a dialogue and try to analyze the information. He synthesizes a list of possible solutions that could be used with the tools. Then he decides the best option and then try to fix the problem. Okay. So, for example, I was giving that conveyor belt. So, if it is breaking, so he tried to get this information from different sources and then he tried to see that how it could be fixed. So, that there is no problem. But when you are solving non-routine problems, then it is very, very different compared to solving familiar standard problems. Okay. So, in case of familiar standard problems, what happens? You have a straight forward rule or formula which could be used to fix the problem. So, if there is a particular fault, what you do? You know that how to diagnose it, how to repair it. Okay. But in case where you are not able to identify what the problem is, then it becomes very, very different. So, that is what we call non-routine tasks, because in that case if there is a fault and you are not able to identify why this fault is happening, because there is no fixed straight jacketed approach that is available to you. In that case you use heuristics or you apply different ways and means through which could be done. Okay. That is what using knowledge is. Okay. Now, there are 5 critical knowledge functions for each KM cycle, right. For example, type of knowledge or skill that is involved, like securities trading expertise, different kind of knowledge or skill involved. Okay. It is not only explicit, but more tacit. Then business use of that knowledge. Okay. Now, how are we going to increase the value of retirement portfolio? This is the example that is taken here. Okay. Suppose you are earning money, then how are you going to use the retirement portfolio? Okay. So, that when you retire, you are going to live a good decent life. Then what are the constraints that prevents knowledge from being fully utilized? Okay. Because if the experts leave, then what will happen? How are you going to make use of the knowledge which is available with the people? Okay. Set that in some cases what happens, you re-employ them, but how long you can go on re-employing them to get the services. Okay. So, what you need to do, you need to develop and make sure that successors of experts are developed by you. So, you need to look at these issues as well. Okay. And then you have to see that what are the opportunities and alternatives are there to manage that knowledge. Okay. How we are going to elicit and codify knowledge. Okay. So, whatever knowledge that person has, is it possible to have it in explicit form, so that even if a person retires, the knowledge is with you. Okay. And then what is the expected value added of improving the situation. Okay. And make sure that any valuable knowledge which rests with the organization is not lost. Okay. So, you need to retain talented people who are having experience and knowledge, and that is where it is going to create more value addition, and that is why we talk about talent management and retention, and these are basically done to retain the knowledge base of the company, right, and these are the critical functions. Now, I am trying to integrate all the models that we have discussed. So, the first model talks about knowledge capture, okay, and then knowledge sharing and discrimination, and finally, we have acquisition and application. And you need to assess knowledge capture and creation and knowledge sharing and description, then you will need to contextualize it, whether you are able to make use of it or not, and finally, you need to update on a regular basis, so that your knowledge capture and creation process continues. So, it is in a cycle. Okay. So, you keep on creating new knowledge, capturing new knowledge, assess them, okay. You share and disseminate it using IT systems, okay. And then you keep on applying new knowledge and make use of it in a relevant context, and then you go for updating your knowledge system, knowledge base, whether it is tacit or explicit. Okay. Thank you.